Yeah, look, man. What we're talking about is actually taught by the mainstream. So what you end up finding is a contradiction, and academia talking out two sides of their mouth. All right, so you'll go to one lesson, and they'll teach you to essentially just they don't use the same might not use terminology like flat Earth, right? But they're essentially telling you, yeah, just treat the Earth as flat. Yeah, measures flat. Yeah, yeah, you can't have gas pressure without a container, all that. And then you go to another lesson or another lecture, and they'll be talking all about this theoretical hoo-ha about how you can, like, nature will violate entropy, and the Earth is a sphere, and theoretically, well, you can the Earth is curved and spinning, and all this stupid stuff that they can't demonstrate it. They're just believing what they see on the TV and what they're told by things like NASA, agencies like NASA and that. But essentially, there's nothing we're saying that you're not going to go into academia and not find information about yourself. Like, they teach what we say: surveying, hydrostatics, all of it. All of it's coming from academia, bro. Go and tell academia to debunk themselves. We've raised this to them. We've talked with high level educated people. Claim to be anyway. Do you know what we get in the end? Stupid statements like, "Well, you can't really prove anything. You don't even know if you're a brain in a vat."
That's why the perception of academics survive, because they're never put in the public eye with anybody asking them really serious critical questions that put their feet to the fire, that causes them to give stupid responses like what you just said, T-Dub. They're never challenged by anything. They're certainly not going to be challenged by their own peers. They're all profiting essentially off the same nonsense, whether they know it or not. They're not going to threaten a good setup. Just academia is just one massive echo chamber.
They're just currently working under the heliocentric model. That's all it is. And in times gone by, when people spoke against it, we can reference that and see what happens to them. They claim that it's the evolution of science and that science shouldn't rest. But when challenged directly with the measurements that we have, or the way that we actually reference flat and level in engineering terms in the real world, they just won't accept it. They won't address it. You're now pilloried almost, as a sense. Get that person out of here. Call security in. We're not addressing that. Phone calls get cut off. When they realise that you're actually trying to approach them legibly as flat Earth or someone with views on the Earth, there's a certain line of questioning that they will not answer anymore because it's outside the heliocentric model. And you're allowed to talk about anything else on Earth nowadays. But you're not allowed to talk about flat
Earth. Who was it that was piping up and asking questions?
I think it was Cash.
Was it Maddox? Ah, okay. Is he still here?
He seems to have went quiet. Maybe
Cash is Maddox. Right.
Oh, that Maddox.
Right,
okay, my bad.
Yeah, there's because of the sometimes on the app, it shows their actual username,
profile name. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you click on them and then it changes.
Well, either way, he seems to have went quiet. Probably had to go off and do something.
you still there, Cash Ripper?
I had to mute up for the end of the last bit of that conversation Jedi had with Gunman. I take it didn't go very well. I literally unmuted 5 seconds before he muted him, and then he left.
He'll be back.
Oh, of course. He's just making everything up on the fly, though. You know, doesn't have a clue about anything and can't tie anything together coherently.
Yeah, like he was making stuff up blatantly, like with the barometer thing on the rockets and things like that, and then posting links that he hadn't even read himself. And then when you ask him what's in the link, he says, "Oh, just click the link." It's like you didn't read it. You don't know anything that it says. You're just like trying to research on the spot. Super annoying, dishonest.
Yeah.
He was doing the same thing yesterday in the side chat with me regarding the dynamic pressure, right? Saying that the blast pressure wave from a bomb is proof of gas pressure without a container. Just things like that. Even once proved wrong with university citation after university citation, he just wouldn't quit and kept shifting the goalposts and just like kind of like snaky behavior.
Something says he knows Professor Phil.
Yeah, he's friends with I think he's been friends with Josh Ingersoll and maybe Eggshells and people like that.
Yeah,
I think I saw some
same little-
screenshots.
Is that like going to be the new sort of GF6? It's like a new challenger.
Just going to say the same thing, correct? Yeah.
We're working on the same wavelength there.
Yeah, but listen, mate, there's a certain wavelength that vibrates at a certain frequency, and once you've heard it once or twice, well, what can I say?
Yeah, it's like I want to argue against flat earthers. You're like, oh, what's a flat earther? I don't know. Oh, how do you know the Earth is a globe? Earth's a globe.
But didn't end well for the last GF6 crew, so. It'll end well for these guys.
It's all because their goal, their end, like the end game. The end goal is always to shut the conversation down, which hard counters their action because they want to be part of the conversation. So they're always in a perpetual cognitive dissonance. Their proof that they want to advocate for the globe is that you shouldn't be able to question the globe or that flat earthers should be silenced. And they demonstrate that by engaging with flat earth 24/7 and completely ignoring anything they could present for a globetard. You're like, dude, you are in multiple layers of deep-seated logical breaks with reality internally, like in the internal worldview. Your own internal worldview has back-to-back contradictions inside it. That's your fault. Nothing to do with me, nothing to do with this topic, nothing to do with flat earthers. You are inside a mental break with reality.
Yeah, I agree with that, Crit. It's just layers upon layers of personal illusion and bias and misconception and everything, man. Hate, bigotry, all this. Fuck it, do not
that's-
envy being in their minds.
That's interesting what Sheepdog's posted there with the definition there. That's from Oxford. It seems to have been edited because it used to say the systematic and intellectual study of the structure and behavior of the physical and natural world through observation, experimentation. Wait, they've added to it because it says and the testing of theories against the evidence obtained. That's not what it used to say.
Yeah. There you go, dude. There's evidence.
Yeah. Ask and you shall receive.
Did they say something too? Like it replaced experiment with observation. That's why how you ended up with Brenda. It's a shoe. That hypothesis is a shoe. You gotta observe it. That's it. Just look at something. What do you see? A clock, which is a dog bone. Because their main function is that they've had to say, if you see an effect, it can't have a cause unless the effect is the cause. Where you go circular, like gravity or mass. Mass causes mass to attract mass.
Right.
Then you can circle jerk yourself into like a hypothesis. But otherwise, no. You can't say like the earth comes from a supernatural creator because of you're looking at the cause rather than the effect. That is outside the scope because you'd have to see God do it yourself. But you don't have to see mass bend and warp fabric of space and time. That part you don't have to see. All you got to do is see things drop to the ground and you're good. That's it.
Right. See, they've tried to sneak pseudoscience into the definition. But really, if you look at it, right, and the testing of theories against the evidence obtained, that's redundant because that's an experiment.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah.
Because basically your theory is your hypothesis, right? So you've come up with this idea. Okay, this is causing that, or it's not causing that. I'm going to set up a situation where it could only be one of those two outcomes. I'm going to test my theory, right, in an experiment. Like that's, and then you get your evidence, which will either confirm what your theory or falsify it. It's really redundant to say experimentation and then add and the testing of theories against the evidence obtained. That's just redundant, stupid. It's unnecessary. But that, of course, we know that that's not what they're talking about. That's not what they're talking about, right? They're talking about pseudoscientific theories, claims, which they can then just use the observations to confirm their bias, right?
I really hate the fucking internet when it comes to definitions, man.
Right. And there's another individual that if he was here probably would say, listen, if they're talking about theories and they're concerning the definition of science, then they're talking about scientific theories, which is only going to have been developed through the experimentation.
Yep. Scientific theories are based on hypotheses that have been completed through experimentation.
I try teaching at the government next time then. I love that. That one astronaut in that interview that said, "Oh yeah, we shipped up 6 tons of science to the ISS." What?
Dude, that's freaking hilarious. Like unintentional comedy gold. He says science about 50 times in 1 minute.
This is what I mean. Like, astronauts are not necessarily like academics, but this is what I meant about academics, and they're like shielded from proper scrutiny, and that's what, of course, paints the perception that these people are infallible or know what they're talking about, or not just complete fucking bumbling bozos at the end of the day when you really put them to it. It's like someone said we shipped up. If you were interviewing that astronaut and he'd said we shipped up 6 tons of science, would you not follow up on that? You know, what do you mean by 6 tons of science? But of course, it's just glossed past and accepted. I mean, almost any follow-up question to that, any level of scrutiny would have showed that that astronaut was just mumbling shite. That's why I love that interview. That I always forget his name, but the guy that went and interviewed some renowned female astrophysicist, Sweden or somewhere she was from. I'm not sure. Copenhagen, I think, actually. And you know the one I'm talking about?
Wakey.
Yeah,
Wakey, that's it, yep. That is such a great video.
Yeah, what a spiral. That was brilliant. How do I even know that these photos are real? It's just like the girl in the meme. This is 23 billion light years away, right? It's like, oh, that's beautiful. This is 100 miles away, this mountain.
Yeah.
As if, how do you know that's real? Like,
Well,
did you guys say Grumman? Was he the one that spiraled?
I think so.
No, I missed it. Oh my goodness gracious. Sorry,
He
go
did
ahead, DJ.
spiral,
I'm
but
gonna
we
cut
were talking about something different. We're talking about
Oh,
an
okay.
interview with an astrophysicist lady that spiraled.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
Yeah. Have you seen that, lads? From WikiWiki. He comes in as he's posing as, you know, some to do with high school education, and he just wants to interview her, get some material for his students or something like that. But he eventually shows like flat Earth observations and such, and what do you think of all this? And she spirals into what you'd expect. Pretty much.
Is that the one it's the one that's posted up in the side chat?
No. I don't think Old Dude Sync is like broken for me at the moment, but it might be it.
No, I'm still looking for it to post it.
It's just a GIF. Yeah, it wasn't loading for me, but no, it's not posted. Someone could drop it.
What was her name? Is that the Sabine Hofstadter thing?
No, that's a YouTuber lady, isn't it?
Oh yeah, okay, never mind. It's like, yeah, I've seen that. Just kidding.
I think you'll only find mirrored versions of it now, because I think, his channel eventually got taken down, I think.
I've got it.
Yeah. Good.
Got it.
Of course it got. But lads, yeah, you definitely want to go and watch this video once it gets dropped. If you haven't seen it, I was going to say that what stuck in my mind from that interview with her was when she was trying to assert that the flat earthers making these observations are not qualified to analyze the results of them. Totally fucking gatekeeping science quotes, you know.
Wait, did she say